Hey, welcome back to still better facial animations than Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. Beautiful. That is enough of that. All right, let's get back to playing our game. How did?
I just thought of a new rant topic.
All right, let's
Right
hear it.
this moment. Have you played Injustice 2?
How long ago did it come out?
2017.
Maybe.
Do you know what Injustice is?
Yes, I do.
So Injustice 2, it is a very good fighting game with an okay story.
Okay.
Based on the DC superhero comics. In an alternate timeline to the mainstream comic.
Yes.
One that is specifically designed for that, using the characters.
Yep.
And I had a thought a couple days ago of something that they could have put into the game, because it's something that they have in these games, and I would have enjoyed it so much more.
Which would be?
Transformations.
That'd be cool. That would.
Because there are quite a few, you know, even if you look at the big name characters, and I'm just going to rattle off some ideas. Green Lantern. Have him fuse with Ion, I think is the name of it, which is the physical embodiment of willpower, like the giant energy monster that their powers come from.
Yeah.
Or have Sinestro fuse with Parallax, who is the giant fear monster that they get their powers from. Have Superman go into Superman Prime, where he overloads his cells on solar energy and goes God mode.
Okay.
There's a version of Wonder Woman where she is, and I don't know if it's canon to this version, where she is the straight up daughter of Zeus, and have her go God mode.
That'd be pretty fucking awesome, dude.
Have Batman put on some bat armor.
Yeah.
You know, Cyborg could pop
great.
out a couple extra guns. You know, there's some characters where it'd be a little bit trickier to do it like visually, but if you look at, put it on a timer so it's not totally broken, you look at characters like Green Arrow, Deadshot, the Joker, people who have long range weapons, give them alternate better long range combos.
Just to cut back to the game really quick.
Oh right, we're playing this.
Just look at how cocky Naruto is about his fight with Kiba. Do you remember how he wins the fight in the show?
He farts in his mouth.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, not in his mouth, in his sensitive dog nose.
He farts in his general direction.
He farts in his face.
Yeah.
So, Injustice.
Yeah. So if you gave like Deadshot, Green Arrow, Deathstroke, some of the characters that utilize more firearms or long-range weaponry, give them alternate combos where they can use more long range with like simpler inputs in X amount of time.
Yeah.
Or maybe they can rapid fire a little bit for that period of time. You know, there are cool ways that they could have done that, because the ultimates that you get, there are no alternate ults. Every character has the one, and it's a cool little cutscene animation. But when you take something like Mortal Kombat, which is the same company and the same game engine that Injustice is based on.
Yeah.
It's Warner Brothers Games making that. Warner Brothers, and I forget the company that does the, you know, hardware, the programming company. But every character in Mortal Kombat, specifically MKX, because it's the closest sibling to it,
Yeah.
has not only their X-ray move, which is their cutscene one, but at the end, they also have a handful, like a good number of unlockable fatalities, which are their own little animations.
Yeah.
My favorite of which is Triborg
Okay.
in MKXL. Triborg is 3 robots in one body.
All right.
It's Smoke and the other 2. I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
Okay.
But it's the 3 cyborg characters.
Yeah.
Or the 3 android characters. 3 robos. They're just inhabit the same body, and depending on your fighting style, you can choose which of the 3 you're playing as.
Cybernetics. Okay.
And one of their fatalities is so fucking funny because they turn into a giant meat processing plant. Like, they transform themselves, and they use this claw, and they pull your opponent into it, and then your opponent gets popped out as, like, a 3x3 perfectly cubic chunk of meat with their face on the front. Yeah. Which is fucking ridiculous. That is so dumb, and I love it.
That's wonderful.
So they're clearly, the company behind this is willing and capable of putting in the time for the extra animations. And Mortal Kombat has always had, even back Mortal Kombat 1 when it was weird live action camera capture, always had great animation. It's something they're famous for.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not that the animations or the combat moves in Injustice 2 are bad by any means. It's a very fluid, good-looking game, but there's just a couple of extra touches and a few extra, like, functions. The problem is, like all games last... No, the gameplay's good. If you're a fighting game fan, Injustice 2 is good. There's a reason Injustice 2 made it to, like, pro tournaments and the EVO tournaments in the same year of release.
I mean, one of your gripes is about the
it can get a little
the lack
repetitive.
of the transformation, which technically does come down to it. Not a gameplay error, but like just wanting something more out of your gameplay experience.
Yeah, it's a fighting game. Like, I just played a shitload of Street Fighter V yesterday. I played like 5 or 6 hours of it. Fighting games get repetitive.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about this is there's such a variety of goofy shit and transformations and weird extra things, and this is not a balanced strategic game.
I'm not at all.
Injustice 2 is a balanced game. It is like there are pro tournaments for that fucking game.
Yeah.
So they can't do as much extra dumb shit, but I don't know. It's the thought I had of something cool they could have done while keeping in the comic lore and adding a little bit of extra flair. Oh, the reason they didn't do all that much extra? There are loot boxes in Injustice 2. Yeah. It doesn't negatively affect the game like some others, but they're there.
Okay, what do you get out of them? Is it just stuff that you could get in? You can get in the game if you're not lazy, or
sort of. They're costume pieces, like their armor sets per character.
Okay.
But you can unlock loot boxes in-game. You don't need to spend real-world money.
Okay.
You can. There is no in-game currency or item that you cannot earn through some level of grinding.
Okay, I don't have a problem with those kinds of
It
microtransactions.
is. Here is the thing, though, and there are three. There are 3 different types of microtransactions. Overwatch is the single best when doing loot boxes.
Okay.
Because all of their shit is purely cosmetic. It's costumes.
Yeah.
It's costumes, it's concept art, it's like voiceovers. It is collectibles. That's it. It does not affect gameplay in any way at all. It refuses to.
And that's
the best,
how I feel
that's the
it
best
should
version. Injustice 2, it affects the gameplay,
Oh.
but not enough to break the game, and the stuff is accessible through actual play. Like, you can just grind for it without it being a ridiculous grind.
Oh, okay.
The 2, then, well, I'll say there's 4 steps, because then you go a step past that, which is a game I loved, but God, it's got problems. Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
Okay.
To finish Act 4 of that game, you either have to grind for 10 hours to get the necessary resources, or spend the money on loot boxes.
Are you kidding me?
No. To get enough orcs to fill your citadels, to defend the citadels, to get the final ending in Act 4, you can either grind for 10 hours, which is a little bit of an exaggeration, it's a little hyperbolic. It might be closer to 6 if you're good at the game.
That's kind of ridiculous, though.
Or you can buy loot boxes. But the game is still playable otherwise. Like, the rest of the game, up through the end of Act 3, it's a non-factor. The loot boxes do not matter.
I mean, I guess...
But there's ridiculous grinding.
Yeah.
And the last one is Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay.
Which is a gorgeous, excellently controlling first-person shooter. Or third-person shooter, I forget what the I haven't played it in a while.
It's third person.
Third. The game handles like fluidly. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find a better mechanically speaking third-person shooter.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly, but you missed one. Or you missed a whole lot. But at the same time, it's entirely pay to win. It's the more money you spend, the better you'll do with the game. To the point at which...
Fuck that shit.
Like... I think you need more chakra before you can do that one fully.
Yeah, I do.
Like, you could either, when the game first launched, and they've walked it back a little bit, to play as Darth Vader, just to unlock him as available, you could either spend upwards of $25 in loot boxes, or grind for, and this is the real number, 40 hours.
40 hours.
You could either play the entire length of your average RPG, which is about 40 hours, or you could shell out an additional, basically half the price of the base game.
Oh no.
To get the most iconic character in movie history. It's so bad. And I understand what it is. DICE makes a good game. They make a great shooter. They've made 2 of the best handling shooters ever within a year. Battlefield 1 and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Both handle phenomenally. They're both gorgeous to look at. Mm-hmm. But they didn't publish that game.
Of course.
EA did. So you have that fight between the developer and the publisher, where the developer makes a game for the consumer, for the gamer, for the people that are playing the goddamn game. Mm-hmm. And then the publisher wants money, way too much goddamn money out of a $60 full release title. Same thing with Shadow of War. I forget the name of the company, but I'm actually gonna... Because my games are within reach. Monolith Games. Mm-hmm. Made a great game. It controls spectacularly. It's super fun. The story is kind of hacky fan fiction in the Tolkien universe.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. By any means. You know, there's shit that's happening. You get to fight You get to fight the Balrog.
Balrog.
You get to fight the not Balrog from Street Fighter. Who is totally not Mike Tyson, guys, I swear. Which is a whole thing.
Wait, hold on a second.
Oh, you just gotta kick the shit out of him.
Alright. I thought I had to go Awakening.
No.
Maybe that's...
I think you're just allowed to.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's one of the ones where your awakening is locked off.
Yeah, no, it's not. I would say so.
Yeah. So, Monolith made a great game. And then Warner Brothers, the publisher, went, we want money! When you open up the pause menu on Shadow of War, the first thing it opens on, and this is doubly ridiculous, it doesn't open on options, it doesn't open on like your combo list, it doesn't open on like save data. It opens on the tab for the market, which is not the top of the list. It's halfway down. It opens at the middle of the list so it can force open on the market. So every time, the first time you pause the game, every single time, it opens on, oh yeah, here's the microtransaction page.
Fuck you.
And then, on the pause menu, even when you're in like, oh, I want to change the audio settings or whatever, there are 3 boxes on screen that are 3 ads for microtransactions or DLC. Or for the WB newsletter. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter so we can advertise to you more.
Oh my god, that's...
In an otherwise perfectly fine game. It's fun to fucking play. I knew I was going to love that game the first time I got to teleport decapitate 3 guys in a row.
Oh shit, that sounds
Where literally
awesome.
you point your magic elven ghost arrow at him, you hit Y, and you teleport in sword first, take his head off. You see another guy there, if you hit it fast enough, and you have the stamina, you teleport in, cut his head off. In a teleport chain, where you're ping-ponging from dude to dude, taking their heads off.
If that sounds... Real quick, let's just see something.
Not worth running around to do. They can wait.
I'll do the mission character. I just want to see what we unlock.
Oh, just see what that mission is in general?
Uh-huh.
Alright, well, you talked to the wrong one.
God damn it.
Oh, it's just the training mission with team, whatever guy's team is.
Team guy.
No, they have a number at this point still. Squad 11 or something?
I don't...
Squad 10, Squad 11? No, they absolutely do.
Well, no, I'm not sure if they technically do because...
No, because they're still a Genin squad, so they still would.
They're a Genin squad, but they were a year ahead of the other Genins.
Yeah, but they would still just...
Are they?
Yeah, they still give them numbers.
Oh, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know if I can remember them.
Cool. That'll be a quick Wikipedia search next time on Nart or whatever.